What's going on, everybody? This is Jay Leno. This morning, July the 1st, the week of 4th of July. Hope everybody's ready to set fire to the skies this week. Right now, we're going to be touching bases on the NBA free agency. All right, we're gonna start off with the reports of today's free agency. Well, let's see here. So as of right now, when regarding the moves being made, we've got the Chicago has agreed to a 3-year deal with Smith, 3 years, $27 million with Jalen Smith. We've got Maxey reportedly reaches a deal with the 76ers. A 5-year, $204 million deal for Tyrese Maxey. I'm going to throw in the Paul George stuff too while I'm at it with this discussion regarding Maxey. It looks like Paul George will not be returning to the Los Angeles Clippers. He's looking more likely to be a Philadelphia 76er. He wants a 4-year deal and wasn't able to receive that from the Clippers. I'm just going to keep it a buck. If I was Maxey, if Paul George joins the roster, I'm not adjusting. I'm not. I'm going to get buckets with Paul George on the roster. I don't even think this is a really good move for Paul George to join the 76ers. It sounds good on paper, but I look at it like Paul George is leaving an injury-prone team to join another injury-prone team. But at least he's in the Eastern Conference, and the Eastern Conference is the weaker conference, if you ask me. Um, Yeah, I mean, regarding Maxey is the scorer, the most reliable person that they have on the roster. You can't. I mean, Paul George himself is injury prone, so we're not going to see him. We'll barely probably get an opportunity for Paul George to play 82 games out of the season. And let's just kind of reflect on the past couple of seasons or Paul George's entire term with the Clippers. He has sold the Clippers short his entire time as a Clipper. I think he's going to be selling the NBA short in the future as well. It didn't work out for Paul George or Kawhi Leonard to request this minute restrictions to be healthy during the season. They load managed they load managed to be healthy, but still ended up getting injured by playoff time. The jersey sells the tickets, the jerseys win the salary. The performance is not there for Paul George. And to my honest opinion, when it comes to Paul George, ever since he broke his leg, Paul George has not been an aggressive basketball player. He's not been the same guy. And I'm not negating his talent as an individual, but he's not a number one option to me due to his availability, due to he doesn't naturally have that spark in him to take over a game, to be your number one option. He does not have what it takes mentally. He has to be talked into being a dog. So Paul George joining the 76ers is not. The Sixers were already in contention of a championship. It could move them closer, but I'm still going to be sweating the sides of Milwaukee and Boston, and even Milwaukee, Boston, the Knicks, even the Indiana Pacers, I think have a better opportunity to win a championship than the 76ers. Last thing I want to say about the 76ers in this free agency, Paul George could join the 76 roster right now, and Joel Embiid could get injured tonight. And it'll be just Paul George and Maxey playing on that roster. Let's go here with Oklahoma City, keeping one of the best three-point shooters, wingman. There go. So Isaiah Joe will be staying with the Thunder. Let's see here. And then we've got the Clippers had re-signed James Harden to a 2-year, $70 million deal. Look, I'm going to keep it a buck when it comes to the Clippers right now in this particular situation. This owner spent so much money to have a championship, and these players did not deliver. This is a dysfunctional like roster full of players, no cohesiveness whatsoever. And it's all going on the Clippers owner's pockets. He had Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, all on the same roster. Was able to keep their big man Zubac. They got a little bit of help off the bench itself, and they still couldn't deliver for the Clippers. Barring, I think that it would have been really nice to see the Clippers healthy, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And these guys are aging players. So if I were to, I could honestly, respectively, could understand that that it is rumored that the Clippers owner wants to buy out Russell Westbrook's contract and ship his ass elsewhere. So you guys may not, Russell Westbrook will probably still have his homes in LA, but he might be playing for an entirely different team, and I wouldn't even keep him on my roster. So we can say toodles to the Clippers as of right now. All right, and then moving forward, we've got Chris Paul signing with the San Antonio Spurs. I think this is probably one of the best moves that I've seen during this offseason. Chris Paul is a bit of a shell of himself, but his veteran leadership and his ability to be a facilitator, he still has that ability as a defensive player. Not really. And Popovich is one of the few coaches, and the Spurs organization is one of the few teams that know how to preserve its veterans and still finding ways to make them effective. I would think that Chris Paul's career is in good hands, being in San Antonio and being alongside Victor Wembanyama. I really want to see how else they will build this roster up going forward in free agency. Not to mention, everybody, DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is still a free agent. As a matter of fact, I'm going to see if anybody feels about Chris Paul. See what anybody thinks about Chris Paul to the Lakers. Let's see here, Chris Paul. Not to the Lakers, to the Spurs. You said it'd be a good move for Chris Paul. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm actually thinking the same exact thing. Now the question is do you go after DeRozan? I personally think with going into the Pelicans are looking like they are not interested in going forward with Brandon Ingram. So I would like the San Antonio Spurs to go after Ingram with a sign and deal trade with somebody on that roster, or possibly some picks. So then I think you were really talking about something at that point. I really want Trae Young to go to the Spurs, but it doesn't look like it's happening any time soon. Okay, so Z Kid, how'd you feel about Paul George going? How do you feel about Paul George going to the 76ers? I think it's a complete waste. I think he's joining he was on an injury-prone roster, and he's joining another injury-prone roster. All right. Let's see here. He probably has some delay. And then let's see here. We've got, and then the Magics agreed to a 3-year deal with Kentavious Caldwell Pope. I like watching Orlando in the playoffs last year. They've got a little bit of ways to go, but each piece matters. I thought they were lacking a little bit of depth off of the bench in Orlando. Caldwell Pope's a veteran with championships. Why not get that money, be a part of an organization? He'll be more of an asset to Orlando if they're able to succeed and go to the next level, move to the next foot. They need a little bit of veteran leadership over there in Orlando. It's looking like in every championship team has some sort of veteran leadership somewhere. So I think the Caldwell Pope, Contavious Caldwell Pope move was a good idea. We're also looking at here, we've got the Jones Jr. is going to be leaving the Mavericks and signing with the Clippers with a 3-year, $30 million contract. We're looking at Kelly Oubre Jr. is re-signing with the Sixers. He's agreed to a 2-year, $16.3 million contract to stay in Philly. We've got the Miami Heat reportedly are bringing back Kevin Love for a 2-year, $8 million contract. I'm going to keep it a solid buck. Kevin Love staying with the Heat isn't bad, but I honestly would like Kevin Love to actually be a Los Angeles Laker. If he's willing to sign a 2-year, $8 million deal, LA would have been perfect for him. Seeing LeBron kicking out to Kevin Love open in the corner, wide open, he'd be perfect for a Laker roster. But the Heat barely utilized Kevin Love as it was anywhere in the past couple of seasons. So I don't. But I guess collect your check. But you know what? I honestly forgot he was dealing with some mental trauma and pressure and anxiety when he played with LeBron last. So he's probably scared to death to play with LeBron James, even if it does benefit him. He can't handle that pressure. Moving forward, we've got the Boston reportedly will bring back big man Neemias Queta on a multi-year deal. We've got Andre Drummond agreed to a 2-year deal with the 76ers. We've got Jonas Valanciunas to sign with the Wizards. This hurt my feelings, bruh. Oh, man. To keep it a solid book, I wanted Valanciunas to go to LA. Valanciunas has got a mid-range jumper. He's a really good rebounder, really good scoring around the rim. He's not too slow on his feet. Hell of a defender. He's the missing piece to the Lakers roster. He's a missing piece for anybody who needs a big man. Valanciunas to the Dallas Mavericks. If he was on that roster, it'd be a completely different game. But he's with the Wizards. Wizards are trying to make some moves. Let's see how Jordan Poole and Kuzma work things out over there. Let's see here. Sharpshooting guard. Eric Gordon signs. Oh, that's a big move. Eric Gordon signs a 1-year, $3.3 million deal with the 76ers. Okay. A little more depth off the bench. Eric Gordon to the Sixers. That's intriguing. That's intriguing. A bunch of more kickouts. Eric Gordon is a consistent shooter. He's not going to complain at all. The real question is do y'all think it's OV for the Phoenix Suns over there? Do you think they should just break up that cabal of players on their roster that they have there? That's a tough one. Let's see what's popping. I didn't know that. That's a nice move. We've got Najee Marshall has agreed to a 3-year, $27 million deal with the Dallas Mavericks. We've got the Suns to sign Mason Plumlee. Phoenix does. Okay. Clippers added Kevin Porter Jr. to their roster. Cornet returns to Boston. Lakers agreed to deal Max Christie to a deal. We've got the Pacers reporting will bring back Obi Toppin for a 4-year, $60 million contract. No word yet regarding Klay Thompson. No word yet. The real question is should Klay get the check or should he go after the championship? That's the oddball. I mean, there's so many options Klay have. Who's got the bread? Should Klay just take the bread? Should Klay go to? I'm trying to think, where should Klay go? Who has money in the league right now? Should Klay go to Houston? They got young guards over there, though. I don't think there's room for him in Orlando because Orlando's got some decent shooting already. I don't think he's going to go to Brooklyn. All the money's kind of spent up. I guess he's just going to see what happens. Klay should go to the Lakers. Klay should go to the Denver Nuggets. If they can afford Caldwell Pope on their roster, it would only make sense for Klay Thompson to go to a contender who's got a little bit of bread. I think the only thing that's close to being offered is from the Lakers is the mid-level exception for $13 million a year. I don't know if Klay can get $20 million from anybody. Well, if he were to get $20 million, it won't be on the roster that he likes. As of right now, I'm looking to see something happening. We're gonna have to keep our eye on these teams. Let's see here, man. And then I really want to see where Brandon Ingram goes, if he's going to be traded or if he's going to play a full season with the Pelicans. Because it's looking like the Pelicans want to move forward and use Murphy. I think it's Murphy the third at small forward over using Brandon Ingram. And then the Pelicans had just acquired DeJounte Murray to put up some more scoring. So I'm pretty sure they're going to have DeJounte Murray at the 2, which isn't bad. I was not a fan of CJ McCollum going into the playoffs watching the Pelicans. Those injuries that he suffered from, unless he was still injured in the playoffs, he didn't have that first step. He wasn't getting past defenders like that. CJ McCollum is a shadow of himself as well. So I can't put my finger around it, but it might be Brandon Ingram to Sacramento, which will change the game. Haven't heard anything from the Memphis Grizzlies yet. DeMar DeRozan, who knows where he's going to go? But I will say, I believe in one of his more recent interviews, he had a lot of praise for when he played for Popovich. DeMar DeRozan back to the Spurs might not be a bad idea. May not be a bad idea. Unless the Clippers are trying to shed some cap space to bring in DeRozan. You get rid of Paul George. Yeah. What if the Clippers do that? The way I saw DeRozan dance on that stage at that Kendrick Lamar concert on Amazon Prime, I think DeRozan wants to come back to LA. And him and Russell Westbrook, they look like they get along just fine. So you dump off Paul George, give that salary to DeRozan, whether or not, Russell Westbrook isn't getting that much money right now. Not to mention that I'm pretty sure they're going to consider buying out his contract. So James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and DeRozan with Kawhi. Clippers might have a chance. I would like to see DeRozan in LA with LeBron James. I don't know if that's going to be able to happen. I think the Lakers are going to be stuck with their roster, and these young players that they've drafted and developed are going to have to be their new shooters. I'm surprised I haven't heard any news regarding the Charlotte Hornets. I'm surprised I haven't heard anything about Zach LaVine yet, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see. That's all the news I got right now for the free agency. I'm going to start up a separate stream after this in a few regarding the stepdad in the barber shop. We're going to be doing a reaction video to that. Keep it a buck.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.